Cody said he had an ick factor when he first met Robyn. Remember that? Do you believe that? Let's talk about it. Okay, I had forgotten about this, quite frankly. But going back, let me take you back for a moment. Flashback, everybody. Back in time, Season 1, Episode 8. This was the interview episode at the end of the season. Can you believe Season 1 only had 8 episodes? Well, really 7 episodes, and then their interview. Well, this little nugget of information came back to the forefront of my mind because I was watching McKelty's Patreon. And there was one comment she made there about that. Now, let me refresh your memory. Let's go back to the actual episode, and let me show you the clip. This is Cody's reaction about when he first met Robyn.
Cody and Robyn had a matchmaker, first wife Mary. She and Cody met Robyn at a party. The two women clicked, and Mary suggested to Cody that Robyn may be sister-wife material. Cody wasn't so sure.
And initially, I had some personal reservations. For whatever reason, I actually kind of shuddered. I actually had an ick factor.
Ick factor. Ick factor. Who would ever say that about another person? True or not? Cody, apparently.
Nice self-awareness.
So now is the time to dissect. Did he mean that? Did he not mean that? How are we going to figure this out? No problem. Let's use Cody's own words. Many of you are aware, we are reading 1 chapter a week of Becoming Sister Wives. This book is the words of the 4 wives and Cody. Let me apologize in advance to all of you who've been following along this whole time. This Thursday night is actually the Robyn meets Cody chapter. And as you know, if you've been watching them, I have not read a word of this book. I'm reading it fresh for the first time, giving my reactions. We're talking about it. It's a good time. So I had a peek ahead because I wanted to make this video after I saw that clip from McKelty, and I thought, how are we going to know what he really meant? Because obviously, he's head over heels in love with Robyn. How could he possibly have an ick factor at the beginning? Or is he just that creepy? I don't know. So let's go to his words. All right. First of all, I thought it'd be right at the beginning of the chapter, but the chapter does begin with Robyn. And the book is divided. Each chapter has like a paragraph or 2, sometimes a page or 2 from one wife, and then we have Cody. And then we have the wife, and then we have Cody. And then the next chapter, wife and Cody. I don't know why this book is 50% Cody. The show is called Sister Wives, and the book is called Becoming Sister Wives.
That doesn't make sense.
All right, I digress. So when I say, okay, I'm going to digress again. When I say that each chapter has a couple paragraphs, maybe 2 pages, Robyn's section is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages long. There's been no other section that long. 6 pages. Curious what she has to say? We'll find out on Thursday night. Let's jump to Cody's section. And he does begin it with addressing how he met Robyn and what he felt about it. Okay, so it starts off with him saying that he and Mary both met Robyn on the front lawn of her cousin's house. They met at the cousin's house outside briefly. Mary thought they had a great dynamic together.
Cody and Robyn had a matchmaker, first wife Mary. She and Cody met Robyn at a party. The two women clicked, and Mary suggested to Cody that Robyn may be sister-wife material.
Cody claims he was nervous about the prospect of bringing Robyn into the family because she had been divorced and has kids. Now, the been divorced obviously doesn't matter because Janelle was divorced. Didn't bother him for a second. Never mentioned it in the book regarding Janelle that it was a concern whatsoever. So the concern had to be the 3 kids. Are the 3 kids the ick factor? This could be worse than we even thought. So there is one line at the end of this very short paragraph that explains what he felt when he first met her. And it said, "But the stirring I felt around Robyn changed this almost right away." regarding changing his opinion about not having a divorced woman with kids come into the marriage. So ROBYN wasn't an ick factor. He said ROBYN was the ick factor.
Initially, I had some personal reservations. For whatever reason, I actually kind of shuddered. I actually had an ick factor.
Here he's saying the stirring he felt around her went away right away.
Then why did you say that?
So then they leave. That was the first meeting. Now the first time they're actually talking to each other is at a dance. Mary arranges it somehow that Cody and ROBYN end up dancing together. And so he gets the opportunity to actually get to know this woman for the first time, according to the book. And here's what Cody says about that. The minute ROBYN and I hit the dance floor, I became transfixed by her spirit. I couldn't deny the spark I felt. Not the kind of spark you feel in your loins, but something deep and transcendent. I guess you could call it love at first sight. Love at first sight. Ick. Love at first sight.
Exactly the opposite.
Are you lying then? Are you lying now? He clearly in the interview didn't say, I had an ick factor about the concept of introducing children into a marriage, because that would sound horrible. Of course he didn't. You can't give him the benefit of the doubt here. There is no good way to look at this ick factor comment. Clearly in the interview, the 3 OG3 wives are mortified by his comment.
I actually had an ick factor. But that was just...
What? Oh,
Yes.
Cody, did you really say that? Come on.
Natalie Morales is mortified by his comment.
What did you mean by that? I'm sure ROBYN is grimacing a little bit.
Cody doubles down.
Cody, did you really say that? Come on. It's
I'm just
okay.
being truthful.
As I said before, it is not the divorce that's bothering him, because Janelle was divorced when he married her. She points that out.
We talked about this.
I want you to
Nicole.
remember that there are a lot of divorced people in this world.
Okay, this is the situation.
Okay, I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think about all of this. And I think, based on McKelty's response, she thinks the same way I do. Let me give you my opinion first. I think Cody thinks he's all that in a box of chocolates. I feel like he was trying to make himself look so cool, and that people might even laugh at his comment or sympathize with him. If nothing else, think, wow, you're such a cool guy. He was trying to portray himself as, I am so cool that I know this new young skinny pretty thing wants to marry me, but I think he was smitten with her from day one, falling over himself, trying to figure out how to get her into this marriage, and is trying to cover up for all of that. How does he cover up for it? Claiming he felt ick when he first met her.
That makes sense.
I think there was interactions with him and ROBYN early on. And why do I think that? Because I'm just starting to read the book. And he comes right out in the book when it came to Janelle and talks about a get-together he had with Janelle, taking her out on a date for lunch in the middle of the day by herself while he's married to Mary, and is flirting with her and insinuating what life would be like if she joined his marriage.
He did he?
She blows him off, and that's the end of it. For the time being.
Oh.
He came out and admitted he was being inappropriate. You're never supposed to go on a date. The wives are supposed to bring prospects to you. You're not supposed to go on a date while you're married, when you're not courting or proposed to somebody. Those were the rules. He broke the rules. He broke the rules with the very first wife he was trying to bring into the family. So now, 14 years later, there's this new young fresh blood coming. She's been around the block. She's been married. She has 3 kids. Child number 1, correct me if I'm wrong, was out of wedlock. She got married after she got pregnant. Not a sweet, young, innocent thing. Do you think all those times the two of them got together and he was staying there, it was all innocent? I don't think so. I'm digressing, but I don't think so. Oh, with Cody, he does so much wrong. I can get on this tangent and then another tangent and then another tangent. Let's try to focus here, Jenny. Try to focus. Okay, so to pull it back, I think he was just trying to be way cool and said something really stupid and dumb because he doesn't think before he talks. Here's what McKelty said about it.
The further along the show progressed in years, you'd have the different stupid ass comments that my dad would make, and they would hit harder as the years progressed. In the early years when my dad would hit those things that he says, because I mean every single episode my dad says something that's like, you're an idiot, why would you say that? I think it hit harder and it hit worse because there was more hard history leading up to that as well.
When the one and only child of the OG 13 who has your back comes out and says, you say dumb, stupid, idiotic stuff, not every season, but every episode? We all know McKelty has a filter and she protects ROBYN and Cody. That's her filtering down and being nice to Daddy. I'm just glad that she's aware of the dumb things he says and doesn't make an excuse for it. But now we have to take this one step further. Because in seasons 17 and 18, Cody was saying all kinds of crazy stuff. He was being vicious. He was mean. He was cutting down his wives. He was swearing at his children. It was awful. It was full on awful. The things that came out of his mouth, certainly in the last 2 seasons, we could probably find something really dumb and idiotic in every episode. Now, what was the reasoning for this? ROBYN and everybody else never said he didn't mean all those things. He never said, I don't mean any of that stuff I said. Both he and ROBYN, as well as the OG3, agree Cody doesn't have a filter. Cody says whatever is on his mind.
He could be misunderstood very easily because he says everything that's in his head. Most people filter it. He doesn't. But I think that it's hard for other people to understand.
Kind of like if you're a toddler or maybe 3 to 5-year-old child who just spurts things out and you have to like go shh because they don't know what's appropriate or not. He's sort of at that mental intelligence level when it comes to filtering out what is appropriate to say and what is not. Especially knowing this is being broadcast. It's one thing to slip out in the comfort of your home when you're with your spouse or something and say something that you really shouldn't say. But he was working, sitting down at an interview and answering questions, knowing it's getting broadcast to the world. Which makes me think, what does he say behind closed doors? My goodness. All right. So if we take that angle and we say Cody says everything he really means, he just can't filter it out. Could it be possible that all the way back in season 1, in the interview, he meant what he said? If that's true, he had an ick factor about the fact that she was bringing 3 kids in. It's not the marriage and divorce. Janelle was married and divorced. Had no problem with it. Didn't even mention it in the book. Has never mentioned it on the series. I don't know. I can see it going both ways. I really tend to lean towards, though, Cody just thinks he's amazing. He was trying to make himself look too cool for school. Diesel jeans model? Not interested. Ick. Oh, there's so much to discuss here, people. It's a tough one. Because I do also believe what they said in terms of season 17 and 18. Those were her true thoughts and feelings, and he didn't have the ability to filter himself. Or could it be both? Could he have been trying to be cool then, and then later on he just couldn't filter himself when he lost control of his emotions, especially his anger, starting with COVID and moving on from there? Okay, what do you think? Do you think it's A, Cody did, according to the interview, feel ick when he first met ROBYN? Do you think it's B, Cody did feel ick, but it wasn't ROBYN, it was her kids that made him feel ick? Do you think it's C, the book is correct? There was no ick. It was love at first sight. Not just lust from his loins, but true love. I never again want to use the words Cody and loins together in a sentence. Please don't make me do it. Can we skip over it on Thursday night? Y'all, please. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you think it's D? Just like season 17 and 18, he says every thought that goes through his head means them all, doesn't care what people think, has zero filter. Do you think it's E? All of the above. Kind of an impossibility because A and B are complete opposites. One is a lie. But we could have multiple answers in here. Let me know down below and make sure when you leave your response that you leave a quick sentence explaining it as well for me. This man, the lies. That's all we have for this quick video. See you Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the reading of that chapter in the book of When Cody and Robyn Met Each Other. Bye, y'all.